Welcome to Outside the Box. I'm Tina Richards. On December 26, 2003, an earthquake hit the city of Bam, Iran. 85% of the buildings were destroyed, 30,000 people dead, including over 10,000 children. 30,000 left injured and over 75,000 homeless. Psychologists teach us the human mind cannot comprehend mass numbers of deaths, but a single person's tragedy reaches deep into our heart. BAM 6.6 is a documentary that takes us on a journey of the heart. The filmmaker spent 4 years of his life, mortgaged his home, and so much more to tell us the story of an American couple who were tourists in Bam, Iran on that tragic day. The film transcends geopolitical differences with a simple message of love and hope amidst tragedy. Negative images have created a curtain between U.S. and Iran, a curtain that prevents easy exchange of ideas and shared collaboration. Jahangir Golestan lifts the curtain with BAM 6.6. Producer and filmmaker Jahangir Golestan, thank you for joining me on Outside the Box.
Thank you for inviting me, Tina.
Now, I had an opportunity to go to the showing at the National Cathedral here in Washington and get some of the reactions, but first spoke to Evan Anderson, who brought the film to the National Cathedral to share with different Americans throughout D.C. I'd like to hear what he had to say.
Who was actually in tears and said, I have just watched this film called BAM 6.6, and you've absolutely got to see it. It's about two Americans who are traveling in Iran, and they are trapped in the rubble of this horrible earthquake in the city of Bam. And I'm not going to tell you anymore, I just want you to watch it and tell me what you think. So I watched it, and I called him the second it was over, and I said, everything in this film that I've just seen in the last 54 minutes captures and encapsulates so beautifully what we're trying to convey in our work in the Center for Global Justice in ways that we cannot, because it brings human beings together. This film transcends, as the catchline says, it transcends geopolitical differences and shows, just people coming together under very, very difficult circumstances. It also shows and demonstrates firsthand the graciousness and hospitality of the Iranian people, who have a sense of honoring their guests that we cannot really comprehend, I think, in the U.S. I mean, they shame us, I think, in terms of the way that they treat their guests. You'll see that in the film, of course. That's outlined beautifully. And I'd like to commend the producer-director, Jahangir Golestan. He's just done a fantastic job of really capturing the essence and beauty of the Iranian people.
So with Evan Anderson, high praise and for bringing it here and high praise of the film, I'd like to start with what motivated you to want to produce this film and, I mean, devote so much time and resources?
I think the main reason I made this film was because I did a lot of research when the earthquake happened, and of course I didn't have any intention of making a documentary. I was going to make a travelogue about the Citadel. And I always wanted to share with my beautiful wife and my kids and American sisters and brothers and the rest of the world who truly Iranian are. And I did a lot of research at the UCLA Film Archive, and I couldn't find any really film that really truly portrays the Iranian culture. So when I read this story and I realized, my goodness, this young Jewish girl was trying to go to Iran, and her mother had a lot of hesitation, her daughter, a young Jewish girl, going to Iran, I thought, what a beautiful story to tell. And then I went, of course, I contacted adults, parents, top Dolores parents, and they honored me the interview. And they said that if you tell the story exactly the way that's happened, we are willing to cooperate with you. And that's what really truly happened. And I very grateful also to my editor, Bill Woolery, who took this great project, and with the help of him and help of God, of course, we put this film together.
And it seems to really be aimed at American viewers or viewers that maybe watch American news to give that alternative viewpoint. At least that seems to me. Was that your intention, or?
I think I truly made it most towards the American public, because Iranian, except those Iranian who are not born in Iran, but I don't think it's still they have hatredism or anger towards their own parents or their own family. I think this film is really geared towards mostly the Western people, especially American and British people.
And I would like to go ahead, and we did film some other reactions of people after they saw the film. And some were, one lady was just back from Iran, and she gave her viewpoint, and some other people that knew almost nothing about Iran before seeing your movie. And I'd like to share with you their reactions.
Sure.
I was, after that movie, I want to go back and I want to take my husband, who is American, and my son, who is 20. And I was just talking to somebody who works at the embassy, and I'm going to try to get some visa. And I don't think it's dangerous. I think it's fine. And I'm glad I saw that movie, because that reminded me of what I lived there. And the people are great. And I've been talking about them for the last 35 years, and I'll keep talking about them. And, you know, I hope this country can understand one day that, you know, they're all like the same. You know, they just speak different language and have different custom, and whether it's China or India or Iran, we're all the same people. So I hope the world will change one day.
It was very moving. The message of people to people, helping people, and that we're all the same, and that we transcend color, race, is so powerful in this film. It's very moving, because I, like so many, have, you know, Iran, where, you know, what is it, where is it, what are the people like? It is, you can read about something, but if you actually go there and experience it, where you are living with the people or you break bread with the people, that's the only way we're ever going to bring peace, is when we know each other on a very personal level.
What I'd like to do is, when we were at the premiere over at the National Cathedral, and we were interviewing various people's responses, we came across Bruce Langdon, who was over in Iran and a diplomat over there, and got a reaction from him that I thought was very, very unique. And I'd like to go ahead, and I know you haven't had a chance to see that, but I would like to go ahead and share with you what Bruce Langdon had to say about your film.
Oh, thank you.
1953 to 55, so I knew Iran way back then. And then I knew Iran in a different capacity when I was a hostage in Tehran in 1979, 81, which began well but ended with my colleagues and I becoming hostages and being used by the government of Iran at that time. I still am a friend of Iran, an admirer of Iran, with enormous respect for the Iranian people, whose qualities came through very well, I thought, in this film, of hospitality particularly, of friendship, of warm regard for their fellow man and woman, wherever they are, facing that kind of tragedy. I have not been back to Tehran since the end of the hostage crisis, but I deeply regret that 28 years later we do not talk with Iran. That is ridiculous. I'm sure that everyone here tonight to watch this film is basically a friend of Iran, laments the fact that there is no dialogue between Iran and the United States, and feels and felt deeply tonight how wrong it is that we are not in direct dialogue with the people evident in that film. It's a very moving film. I'm glad I came. It is poignant. It is very effective in getting a message across that we are all one people, wherever we live, whatever we do, particularly in the face of tragedy, when everyone like this, when everyone has to rally around. And thank God that point comes through in that film, that the people of that tormented city in the aftermath of that tragedy.
Now, the one thing that just played over and over that people walked away with was about humanity. You captured in your film that essence of humanity. How did you do that?
I don't know. Maybe I should ask my editor how did we do it. I think we did have a lot of, 4 years, believing, having faith. I didn't make this film to become a millionaire. If I came, I'm so lucky. But we did it with heart. And I've seen this film myself, just like you and everybody else last night at the National Cathedral. I've seen it more than 130 times, 140 times, and each time I see it, it just brings tears. And I'm so grateful that I have accomplished the goal. And the goal is to touch your heart so that we could remove the curtain between US and Iran and having a dialogue and understanding. And I think this not message goes just only for Iran, it goes towards Iraq and Middle East and every other countries. I think the most important key is to make an effort and having communication. And we're going to go door to door, university to university, school to school, churches to churches, and we're going to get this message to the rest of the world.
Well, I want to thank you for coming on Outside the Box and sharing with me your story, sharing your film with the world. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you for inviting me, Tina, and thank you to all of you. Thank you.